Sushmita, it's an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you here with me today. Let me just touch you and feel you, and it's real, right? And it's happening, and you're sitting here with me.
And you must tell them the story. We
Yeah.
actually are coming from all the way from India. She and I, we have kind of met each other and worked with each other 18 years ago. And here we are. We had to wait another 18 years and meet all the way in San Francisco.
Welcome to San Francisco. Tell me first, what got you attracted to Home of Hope?
You know, I believe in serendipities. I think and those are very. I think God has a plan, and He attracts people to people. And I have a very dear friend called Mr. Salim Sherwani. And he never speaks very highly of anyone unless he genuinely has studied them and knows them well. And he turned around and said to me very recently in Bombay that you have to meet someone called as Dr. Nilima Sabharwal. She runs an organization called the Home of Hope, and she literally runs it off of the trunk of a car. So I'm like, what? He says, yes, she lives in San Francisco. She's been running it for 12 years. And the kind of work she's done, the lives she's impacted 50,000 kids in the last 12 years. She's got running programs of 15 projects in India. She started a fresh one in Berkeley for the hearing impaired children. Everything I heard about her, and then after meeting her in Bombay, it was an instant connect. I mean, the first thing she turned around and said is, I believe that there's a calling in life, and that's the one thing I've always believed in. The minute she said that, I'm saying, what are we doing in San Francisco? Because we have to do this. I was coming to Los Angeles. We planned it together, and here we are tonight for the fundraiser for Home of Hope. And I'm really, really hoping that everything she's desired and hoped to have for her yearly budget. She has a computer program going on in India right now, and I would really love for these funds to be put in place. So that's how this whole thing, not in a nutshell, in a very long version, came together, but it's worth a mention.
Well, Nilima is a magnet, and that's why I'm
Yes.
here with you today.
So you
And
see,
she
you know the
inspires
feeling.
me. She inspires me. She paves the path for a lot of people to do a lot of good. Now, you have done so much, and from being nowhere to being Miss Universe, what has been the biggest learning in your life? Can you share that with us?
Okay. Today is what? The third? The fourth?
I think it's
Fifth? Yeah, I was close. I've been jet lagged. I've been on completely different time zones. I've been traveling non-stop. So the fifth today. In another 14 days, I will turn 37 years old. And in 37 years, it's very difficult to say the one thing I've learned, because every day of my life, I feel like there's been a new learning. But I have learned to live through it all, not just to exist. The choices you make, the things that liberate you, the things that make you who you are, you've got to be very unafraid in life to live your life. You've got to break barriers, you've got to get beyond what people perceive as norm and the right thing to do, and you have to make those choices bravely. That one thing in my life I have to say I've learned, and I've learned very quickly.
What do you think is the biggest problem with women coming up to the top and doing what they want to do? You've been a woman, and not that you exemplify beauty, brains, all in one.
Can I take you back home with me, please?
Sure, I would love to be with you because.
Over and over again. Yes.
So tell me, what do you think is one issue that women face, and what do you want to tell them? Because our show is Women Now. It's a platform to inspire women and live their life, follow their bliss. What would be your advice to help them do that?
Don't compete with men. Don't support feminist groups. Don't allow anybody to tell you you need help because you're a woman. Nature is a she, and God knows she doesn't need anyone to run its course, right? A woman is very powerful. I don't just say that because you and I are women, and you're the womb of the universe. You are someone who creates life, keeps the process going, right? And even if she does not create life, example myself, just as yet, you can still be a mother. So you have the ability to nurture life, and it's really important to be able to live it like that without ever allowing anyone to tell you differently. There is no problem with it. It's the only problem is the conditioning. We grew up in different societies. People believe बेटियों को ऐसा होना चाहिए, बेटियों को ऐसा करना चाहिए. They must be second to the boys. They must not get an education. They must get into the kitchens and learn. A lot of the developing countries in the world have that as a problem. But the world has grown in such magnitudes and leaps and bounds that today you literally can Google, get on YouTube, educate yourself, see the world, and make your choices. So be aware. That's the first thing I always tell women. Be aware. Don't listen to anyone but your insides. If you want to learn something, the only one you need for it is yourself.
Right. That's so well said. Now, people will remember you for a lot of things. People will remember you as a Miss Universe, as someone who helped a lot of people. But how do you want to be remembered? What is it? How do you define yourself? And what is it that you want to leave behind?
I want to leave behind a lot of love. I want to leave behind a feeling. Because, I'm not one of those people who want to be remembered, per se. It's life is about constantly evolving. It is about doing great things, experiencing it, people affecting people's lives, and then somebody else will affect their lives, and you move on. So it's not about being remembered, but I would love for them to remember a feeling. And they could very well say, I can't remember her name. She was this tall girl with, she was pretty, but, I can't remember. But I do remember that I loved meeting her. I remembered the hug she gave me. I remembered the way she made me smile. If I can leave behind a legacy of love, namelessly, then that's what I would
Well,
really.
I would remember your name and the hug and the love and everything. And lastly, tell me,
You're coming home with me.
yeah, totally,
Totally.
totally. But tell me, how would you like to continue helping Home of Hope and
Oh,
several
yes.
other charities that you want to be associated with and helping the people who really need you, like me too?
You are coming home, that's sorted.
Yes.
But I think, you see, the thing about all these organizations is I never took a course or a particular mission in life because I don't think any one of them is less important. It's not like saying a thalassemia society, or it's like saying working with kids in missionaries of charity, or Home of Hope, or Pratham, or any of the other organizations I've worked with is anything more or less in terms of cause. What I want to be able to do is help genuine people. Because in the line of work that I'm in, I also attract a lot of people who don't intend to share that money and put it to good use. And so we're very careful that the people we help actually put it to good use. Now, for example, Nilima has no administrative costs. She has volunteers working for her. Now, a lot of the organizations that have administrative costs are always people who are not necessarily putting the money, all of the money, to where it could have been of better use. So one of the key things when I heard about Home of Hope, that she has no administrative costs, I knew immediately that this is a lot of people. She has, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Nilima. Nilima has a 9-member board team, board members. She has 12 committee members. And just within these people and the volunteers that come in and go, it's enormous, 50,000 kids. Yeah, I mean, I think about it and I think one person can do that. Can you imagine how unbelievable that is?